Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers lore. Let's discuss today the ancient story of the Quasar Sabers. The Quasar Sabers. Ancient swords of power used by warriors 3,000 years ago to defend the galaxy against some unknown threat. Stabbed into the stone altar on Miranoi, and prophesied that one day 5 chosen ones would return and be able to free the Sabers from the stone. Sounds very similar to something else we might know, guys. Excalibur. Stabbed in the stone, and one day the once and future king would return. Now, the people who would one day come forth and pull the swords out of the stone aren't our kings, but common everyday people. 4 of them from Earth, a 5th one from the planet of Miranoi, the holders of the blade, or blades. Now, for untold centuries, the people of Miranoi have attempted to pull the sabers in some type of ritual of sorts. It's almost like a fraternity rite, or hey, you've reached the age of 21, go ahead and try and pull it. Now, Maya has always claimed that she had tried to sneak over it during other times with her friend and tried to pull the swords free. Her always trying to pull the pink one while her friend was trying to pull the blue one. But they basically would attempt to pull until they had blisters on their hands. They were not budging. Kind of just like for Excalibur, stabbed in the stone, no one could pull it except for one certain person. However, that doesn't mean that once it's pulled, that one person gets that power always. No, it looks like other people can also wield that power as time goes on, and they don't need to pull it from the stone just to be the one to activate its power. Now, who exactly made these weapons? It is not certain. The 5 Quasar Sabers, and there's only 5, were made with no detail exactly who made them. No, there's no idea exactly who came up and forged these blades, or where they were forged, because we know that they were left here, but that doesn't mean they were made here, guys. And by the civilization, or the way that we see them, this one tribe, they are very, very, very not advanced. It's basically people equivalent of ancient Greece, but still tribal based. They're in the middle of a jungle. They live in huts. There is no type of technology. It doesn't even look like they barely have the wheel. That's what I can basically just look at real quick and go, yeah, that kind of tells you something right there. These people have not been around very long. And unless their civilization collapsed centuries ago and they're just living in a post-apocalyptic world, these guys didn't forge these 5 blades that have been sitting here for 3,000 years. And we don't even know if those blades were forged 3,000 years ago. We know they were last used 3,000 years. However, I have a theory of exactly who made these weapons, and we're going to go into more detail right now. In the latest series of Dino Fury, they start giving more information about other morphing grid technologies or magical forces or gemstones that are all connected directly to the morphing grid, and exactly who came across them. Now, or who made them, I'm sorry, not came across, but who made them, and that was the Morphing Masters. It's been pushed out more and more, and it's a really good explanation that these Morphing Masters just made a bunch of weapons or devices to connect the morphing grid, knowing that someone would need them to fight against the forces of darkness. And it's a smart idea. However, sometimes they left out certain bits of history, and it wasn't until recently we found this out. The Quasar Sabers are one of those objects that we could be made and forged by none other than the Morphing Masters. And I would probably have to say, actively watching over them. Why would you say that, Power Ranger lore guy? Well, I'll tell you right now. Maya we see her in the first episode. She is running. She just watched the ceremony of the Rangers, of people trying to pull the sword when Furios attacks, and with the Stingwingers, and her people are being rounded up, attacked, brutalized, and the like, while Furio tries to pull the sword from the stone. He fails. He kind of tries to destroy the rocks around it. That fails too, because apparently it's protected by whatever energy is coursing through the morphing grid. And kind of going off from there, he can't do much. However, the Single Wingers are chasing Maya, and they blast after her, and then suddenly before her, there's a portal. She has no time to react. She just falls to the portal and lands at the feet of the 4 destined people who would pull the swords from the stone, essentially. That in itself is very impressive and very convenient. How did she get a portal opened up from across the galaxy to the moon of Earth by a blast that's never seen again doing that? I believe it was the Red Morphing Master, who is the most active of the Morphing Masters here recently, who's also voicing the intros usually to the series and telling the stories of these Rangers. I believe the Red Morphing Master is the one true guy, because he created the Dino Gems, guys. He put them out there and basically said, here you go. He lost them, supposedly, and they were on a meteor. I think he put them there knowing they would crash on Earth and would change everything. I believe that he also created these Quasar Sabers, handed them down to the Rangers of the Warriors 3,000 years ago, and then set up things to make sure that they would fall into the right hands again when the galaxy needed it most. He probably opened a portal to Earth's moon so Maya could basically find these other chosen ones and lead them back to the swords. However, all of that is completely unconfirmed. Do not take it for fact. However, that is just my opinion. It should be noted that I don't just make this up. It's basically around what I've seen and been offered of. And you guys probably have theories of yourself or your own. Go ahead, put them in the comments down below of what you guys think. Who created these weapons? Why am I wrong? Why am I right? Let me know. Now, going back to what's going on here, just because you pulled the sword from the stone doesn't make you immediately the chosen one. So, think about this, guys. Leo didn't pull a single sword, yet he was passed down the sword by his brother, who died after falling into a crevice, and then would later return as the Magnum Defender, but he was never meant to be the Red Ranger, supposedly. Just like later on, when Kendrix passes away and dies and she stabs her sword into stone, another person is able to pull it forth, and that is Corone, who becomes the Pink Ranger after that. So, just because there's a chosen one doesn't mean you're the definite chosen one, guys, just so you put out there. Now, they are all connected, all these sabers, to certain galactabeasts. Now, the galactabeasts, it's never exactly said the same one from 3,000 years ago. I want to state that these galactabeasts are sentient and are organic until they're touched with the morphing grid and then become mechanical. Just kind of like in Dino Fury, all the dinosaur Zords are originally dinosaurs that were morphed into Zords by the Morphing Master's direct interference. Now, the galactabeasts could have been the same way, where they're not being morphed directly, but they transform when they're touched by it through some type of personal connection, and are the ancestors of said former galactabeasts. And we know there's more than the original 5, so there could have been a full planet full of these giant kaiju galactabeast creatures. Now, the Quasar Sabers are also the main primary weapon of the Rangers throughout the entire series. They're able to channel the power of the Rangers into devastating elemental attacks and the like, and are constantly used in every single battle. Even after obtaining the trans daggers, which look kind of awkward and bulky, they still use these Quasar Sabers. And the cool thing about these Quasar Sabers, they retract into themselves and look like a dagger themselves and are easily stashed away. It's not like something like, oh, why are you carrying around a sword? I can hide this. You can kind of almost hide this in a pocket, depending on how deep the pocket is, with these daggers. Now, when they eventually obtain the Lights of Orion, the Quasar Sabers change slightly. They get a new hilt, and the blade becomes a little bit cooler, and the whole thing, it's pretty awesome the way they are, but they change depending on what they're, and they're a little more elaborate as time goes on. They're not just one of those weapons that comes across and you go, okay, I need to do something else, and throws it aside and they get something else. No, they keep the Quasar Sabers the entire time. They are essentially Excalibur. And they're like, are they sentient? Because some people go, well, it might be a sentient sword because they chose the wielder. I don't think so. We haven't really seen too much. They might be semi-sentient in the fact of who they choose, or they're printed upon somebody of a destiny, or it could be entirely the creator's choice of like, this is what you need, this is who we need, or this is what you're looking for. This is the requirements of a person who can activate your powers. This is all the requirements, a checklist wise. That's what it could have been, guys. Now, after the Rangers, the end of the series, have defeated the forces of darkness, they place the Sabers back in its altar on Mirian, which restores the people of Mirian from their stone-like state. They are basically frozen, petrified like Medusa does, and are also resurrects the first pink Lost Galaxy Ranger, Kendrix, whose spirit apparently was merged with the Saber after her death. How is that possible? How is that possible, you may ask? I don't know. Now, however, again, I think it's the direct interference of none other than the Morphing Master himself. He saw her noble sacrifice and goes, huh, I know you can you could die, or I could save you, and then when they're done, you could be resurrected. And he just did it, put it in her soul, essentially, inside of the blade, for safekeeping, knowing that when they returned back to the place where they sealed away, it would restore, essentially, the world, as well as her, back to normal. However, that's all I can go on. That's the only thing that we know for certain, that her soul was in there and that it came out. Who put it there? We're not certain. Mind you, she did die in an awful big self-sacrificing blast. She was directly connected. They all are, in some way, connected directly to the Sabers when they merge, like, transform with them. And so if anyone were to break the swords in their probably would kill the Rangers as well. But again, that is just speculation. So don't go, oh, he said this is 100% fact. I'm not a writer, nor have any connection to the Lost Galaxy staff, or the lore, the deep lore of Hasbro now writing team. Like, I wish I did. I would love to swing some ideas to them and get some ideas out there to basically start explaining some things. But there's always magic in the mystery. I love that line from Hatching Pete, so I have to put it out there. Now, once they put them back there, that's it. The Sabers are just basically sealed away once again and waiting for the next chosen ones to come across and pull them forth to fight against the next evil. Could we get more Lost Galaxy Rangers as time goes on? Probably. I wouldn't see no reason why. It would be pretty cool if we could go back and see, like, Maya being as the mentor of the team. I think that'd be amazing. Like, her going from this character who was just like a kid growing up and then becoming a ranger and advancing as time, that she can be like, oh, we did this, and then starting to see maybe there's other Quasar Sabers or more stuff going on there. I would love to see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for another episode, or watching this far in another episode. I'm the one who's doing the episodes. Who figured that out? I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I wanted to touch on a few things here and there. And someone had mentioned about Arsenals and the Quasar Sabers, and I thought, well, that's a good question. I want to know about the Quasar Sabers themselves. I haven't rewatched the series, and I started rewatching the first episode just to figure out how to pronounce proper planets and just get everything down again. And I was like, wait, where did that portal come from? So that was really fun, just to go back and going, oh man, Leo, why did you wear that red velvet shirt? That is terrifying. Thank you guys. I hope you guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to mention in the comments down below. You guys are the best. Keep it up, and I'll see you guys soon. May the power protect you always.